All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. It is 2:03 p.m. My name is Ty Mentor, Chair of the Board. To my right is Vice Chair Commissioner Wayne Fournier, Commissioner Carolina Mejia. To my left, Commissioner Rachel Grant and Commissioner Emily Klaus. County Manager Leonard Hernandez and Assistant County Managers Joshua Cummings and Jennifer Walker. Our Clerk of the Board is Amy Davis. So we're calling the meeting to order. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Fournier. If you can join us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To
to the republic which stands one nation,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next this afternoon, we'll proceed with the land acknowledgement. Mr. Vice Chair.
We would also like to start today with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and stewarded the lands and waterways of this county with great care and who continue as sovereign nations today. Specifically, the Squaxin, Nisqually, and Chehalis people. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connect across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing. We commit to working together to honor our past and build our future with truth.
Thank you. Next up, we need to approve the proposed agenda. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the agenda. Any discussion on that? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next up are two consent proclamations. Ellen Massey will kind of walk us through them.
Great. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Board. You have two consent proclamations this afternoon. Our first one is Flood Awareness Week, and we have Kyle from Emergency Management here to speak to that.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Kyle Bustad, Thurston County Emergency Management Manager. Thank you for recognizing Flood Awareness Week in Thurston County. Flooding is actually the most common hazard we face, but honestly, the number doesn't matter as much as what we do about it. So every year, we have another chance to prepare and get ourselves ready to make our families, neighbors, and coworkers prepared before the water starts to rise. We'd like to remind people that preparedness really starts at home through knowing your risks and hazards. Even if you don't live right next to a river, flooding can still happen. Second, have a plan, make an emergency plan, talk with your family about that plan, and know how you'll get alerts. And you can get alerts through the Thurston Community Alert through tcalert.org. That's tcalert.org. And finally, be ready to be self-sufficient. Although we want you to be 2 weeks prepared, we always say that any preparedness is better than no preparedness. So I encourage you to at least get water. So during Flood Awareness Week, I encourage everyone to take just one small step, sign up for Thurston Community Alerts, check your insurance, talk to your family about your plan, and every little action makes us stronger and helps us bounce back faster when the next storm hits. So thank you for helping us spread this message and be a little bit prepared. Thank you.
Any questions for Kyle? All right, thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle and Emergency Management Team. Next, we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I would like to invite up Wendy Hurst.
Thank you. I'm Wendy Hurst. I'm a employee of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services, and I am also, some of you might know me from the Miss Thurston County Scholarship Program. I am here today to talk about breast cancer awareness. I am currently surviving breast cancer. I can give you all the numbers. 270,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer annually. 42,000 of those will die annually. Women have a 1 in 8 chance of developing breast cancer, and of those, a 1 in 43 chance of dying. 1 in about 100 men in the US will be diagnosed in 2025, and approximately 510 of those men will die this year alone from breast cancer. Early detection saves lives. I want to talk about my journey. I've been living with diagnosed breast cancer since December 6th of 2024. They say when you hear the words cancer, your personal calendar changes from before cancer to after cancer. I can tell you this is true. I had my routine mammogram in September of 2024. Never missed a mammogram, and I'm very proud of that. And I got a call a few days later that the tech saw something abnormal, and they wanted to do some more imaging and biopsy. That took more than 60 days to schedule. 60 days of worry, 60 days of nerves, 60 days of not telling anyone because it would be nothing, right? Never anything. In November, I went in for the biopsy and more targeted imaging, more waiting. I was diagnosed 3 days before my 60th birthday with no previous family history. On December 6th, I got the call that I've been dreading. I had stage 3 breast cancer. Stage 3, that is close to where you die, right? So how does that happen? I'd done everything right. My mammograms, didn't eat too much sugar, did my self-checks, my head was spinning. This begins a whirlwind of appointments, mammograms, MRIs, oncologists, radiologists, surgeons, you name it, they were on my list. But it was the holidays, so more waiting. I told my husband, my mom, and my supervisor about the diagnosis, but I didn't tell anyone else because I didn't know what the outcome was gonna be. I had a life planned. I had a trip to Miss America planned to cheer on one of my most favorite people here from Thurston County. I had vacations with girlfriends, growing old, and traveling with my husband, retirement, well, someday. But December 6th, all that changed. When you hear the words cancer, it really is like the commercials or the movies where you see the doctor speaking, you hear the words, but your mind spins and you stop listening to what they're actually saying. Every time I met with a new doctor, I had to bring my notepad and my listening ears, which was usually in the form of my best friend. We had our plan solidified. I would go to Miss America and come home and hit the ground running. So January 6th, I returned from Orlando. January 7th, I had my power port implanted. And January 8th, I started my what was to be 18 weeks of chemotherapy. Fortunately, I was spared the most invasive forms of side effects of chemo. I didn't have any nausea. I was very, very little fatigued and no weight loss, although I was looking forward to that part. My supervisors and my administration allowed me to work remotely so that I did not pick up any infections or illnesses from someone else in the office. The tumor responded remarkably, and my 18 weeks got reduced to 14 weeks. After testing, the markers were showing no activity, and an MRI showed no radiological activity. Woohoo, I'm home free, I thought. Mastectomy, reconstruction, and with my life as planned. During my chemo days, I learned what friendship truly is. I had 14 different people come and sit with me during my treatments and drive me to and from appointments, some as far away as Bainbridge Island. However, that's not where the story ends for me. When they do a mastectomy, they take all the breast tissue and, in my case, 4 underarm lymph nodes for testing to make sure there's no residual cancer cells lurking about. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they found. One of the 4 lymph nodes had cancerous cells, and the other of the original tumor had a new cancerous cells. I have started Plan B now. 2 different types of chemo for 12 months. This means starting over. I'll probably lose all my hair again and will be fatigued. I hope I fare as well with the other side effects as I did the first time around, but more than likely not. A few things I've learned on this journey. A positive attitude goes a long way in life. When a friend offers to help or to sit with you, say yes. Take time to enjoy every minute because you never know. I am truly blessed with work family and the best friends and family I could ask for. I learned that I matter and that I make a difference in this world. Mammograms matter. Get yours. I'm a warrior, I'm a survivor, and I'm not giving up.
Um, Next up is public comment related to items on the agenda. We've got kind of 4 strains of public comment today. I see a lot of new faces, so I'm gonna just kind of lay it out for folks. Right now, we're taking public comment as to agenda items on today's business agenda. Toward the tail end of the agenda, we will be taking public comment as to any general matter, and I think a lot of you are signed up for that piece. That's appropriate. We also have 2 public hearings that are set for 3:30 and attached to the same agenda. So if you're here to provide comment on the proposed 5-year homeless housing plan or proposed updates to the solid waste charges. We'll stop the meeting and begin those at 3:30. It shouldn't take too long. So those are 4 different boxes of public comment. So hopefully you're in the right box. And if not, just let me know and I'll make sure you get to the right box. So first up is public comment related to agenda items. First up, I have John Pettit. And let me go through the advisements. Board of County Commissioners welcomes comments from public at all meetings. Guidelines governing such comments are to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised and posted online. When called, please introduce yourself and the area of the county in which you reside. In this particular piece, state the agenda item or number that you are speaking to. Address the board, not audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones. The board does not directly respond to public comment, but the county manager may follow up with specific items as needed. Speakers have 3 minutes to address the board. You may not donate your speaking time to any other speaker. Please be respectful. The board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. No comments that are lewd, offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory. Please be respectful or discriminatory in nature. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. Withhold remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on a quasi judicial appeal. And then finally, all materials provided to the county may be considered public records subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 RCW. Thank you for cooperation. And last but not least, since it's election season, there was no electioneering permitted during public comment. So Mr. Pettit, you're up. I know you know the rules well.
I do know the rules. And I'm actually going to end up adding one more portion to this, which is the Flood Awareness Week. We heard about being prepared and everything. Many of these people here, they're the ones that help take care of the roads and the problems that come up when we do have a flood. We need to give them special recognition that they deserve for being there, not just for having a proclamation, but being there. The other 2 particular items which I had listed was one is to do with your voucher list on there. And because we have a constant problem right now, apparently with the budget for the county, I wanted to point out that on the voucher list that's showing this building we're in. Now, 2 of the commissioners voted to and approved this, but this building we are in costs about $7,000 a day to rent it because we chose not to maintain the current facility. Not to maintain the current facility. So there goes $2.5 million a year for several years now, 7.5 million. There is the majority of what we're supposedly ending up being short because 2 commissioners made a decision a while back to rent a building instead of fixing one up. And I point this out, I mean, when you're dealing with $200,000 plus a month, we needed to think about it. We needed actual public comment and we need more public comment. Which brings me to the next one. The next issue, which on here has to do with the department item under community planning, a resolution to increase land use and building fees to achieve full cost recovery for permitting services. The public has had no exposure to this topic. Don't worry, the public will pay for it. Once again, let's emphasize, unincorporated area will pay for it because the permitting process only deals with the unincorporated area. And to raise it by nearly 50% without even asking the public to have a hearing or opinion about it, does that seem right to you? Are you kings? I thought we had a No Kings Day. We're not kings. You guys actually work for all of us. We don't work for you. And we need you to start listening and doing the things that we're looking for. So I'll be back and we'll talk further about some other topic in the general. Thank you.
Next, I have Mr. Ballard. Mr. Ballard, you are also signed up on both, and you did not indicate which. So if you could please identify your agenda topic, and then you got 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name's Terry Ballard. I live in Tanglewild. That's part of unincorporated Thurston County. I retired in 2012 with over 35 years of service and 29 towards an active duty retirement. Also, just to make a comment, I thank God every single day I did not get elected to County Commissioner District 5 in 2023. Item 11, impairment of alcohol and drugs. Well, we got another thing that's called the road fund. It's inadequately maintained. If a motorcycle goes down a road, it's raining or whatever, and he hits and he's going 100 miles down the road and he hits a couple holes, he's going down. So that needs to be added to your, that needs to be related to your fatal drug and alcohol collisions. Also, where did the maintenance fees for building one go over at the building that you should be in? Okay, over at the courthouse. Where did those maintenance fees go? Why weren't they maintained? That's just all in a vote of the county commissioners, all 5 of them. Okay. Resolution to increase land use and building fees. We have people that have over 5 years of a backlog, okay? And the RCW says 120 days that needs to be resolved. Why are these people still on a backlog and why hasn't payment gone back to them? Okay, now we want to increase the fees for backlog people too? I mean, come on, people, okay? You need to do better than what you are. You're getting awarded for not doing a job of increasing these fees. And you'll hear more about the road fund and different items in the public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ballard. Anyone else for public comment for an item on today's business agenda? Online, I don't see. Okay, thank you very much. We will get the next public comment period shortly. Next up is the page consent, oh no, county manager's update.
Thanks so much, Chair. Wanted to provide a couple quick updates on, the first one is there was a daffodil planting event near the Ralph Monroe Trail on Friday, October 10th. Bob Barnes coordinated a daffodil planting event. A few hundred McLean Elementary School students ranging from ages K through 5th grade participated in the bulb planting. I believe we have a couple pictures that we're going to be putting up. If you, our Thurston County Sheriff's Office, Evergreen State College Police, and Black Lake Fire Department provided traffic control. Thurston County Parks and Trail staff mowed and furrowed the area in advance and were present to assist with the event. Olympia Rotary Club donated the daffodil bulbs. And just want to clarify that it is daffodils and not dandelions, as erroneously reported earlier. We wanted to highlight this great example of our community coming together to create something beautiful for Thurston County, and we look forward to seeing results in the spring. And then the next update I have, and the last one, Western Washington Clean Cities recognized Thurston County in a spotlight this month, highlighting our efforts in decarbonization and clean energy. Western Washington Clean Energy Coalition promotes clean transportation in our region by helping fleets adopt alternative fuels and efficient technologies, which supports environmental health and energy security. So the few points I'll go over. One is fleet decarbonization. Thurston County is actively reducing our carbon footprint by transitioning our fleet. Our commitments include a growing number of electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles, 11 auto gas trucks, and a switch to over 1,500,000 gallons of renewable diesel, R99, and our heavy-duty fleet since August 2023. Community-focused climate action. The county's conservation efforts directly benefit residents and local businesses. We eliminate fossil fuels use for 144 families through the Energized Thurston Heat Pump Program. And our use of C-PACER financing is helping commercial properties fund clean energy upgrades, with the first $17 million project ready to close. National recognition for solar leadership. Thurston County is a leader in encouraging solar energy adoption and achieved the prestigious Sol Smart Silver designation in September 2023. We are one of only 90 counties to receive this recognition out of more than 3,000 counties in the US, which showcase our success in streamlining solar permitting and removing barriers for residents and businesses. And lastly, a special thank you to staff, Thurston County staff in our Central Service Department, Community Planning and Economic Development Department, and our program manager in the Commissioner's Office are leading the way in our efforts to reduce our carbon footprint and to help county operations and our community be safer and healthier. I'd like to thank them for proactively connecting us with federal and state programs and grants that are helping us gain advantage in the carbon reduction and sustainability. That was for staff.
All right, yes. Absolutely. Thank you, County Manager. Consent agenda, there are items 1 through 18. Any requests to pull an item from consent? Is there a motion to approve the consent items?
I move to approve the consent calendar items 1 through 18.
Second.
Motion and second to approve consent items 1 through 18. All non-debatable motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that takes us all the way to page 5, department item number 6, sub 1, community planning and economic development, setting a public hearing on the permit review process annual code update. Ashley Arai, Director of Community Planning and Development. Please brief the board.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This agenda item is to schedule a public hearing to receive and consider testimony on the permit review process annual code update. This is listed as item A31 on the county's development code docket for 2024 to 2025. The proposed changes in this package include 4 primary components. We have clerical edits for clarity and consistency, updates to the permit review timelines to align with the new State Project Review Act, amendments to our SEPA categorical exemptions to reflect recent housing legislation, and finally, review of the board's role as the final decision maker on quasi-judicial land use permits. To date, the Planning Commission has held 4 work sessions and a public hearing between July of 2024 and July of 2025. They did vote unanimously to recommend approval of the code amendments while maintaining the board's role in quasi-judicial land use appeals. Additional information and public hearing drafts for everyone in this room and anyone catching this online later. They are available on CPED's website under the amendments webpage. At this time, we respectfully request that the board set the public hearing to gather public feedback on this package of code updates for November 12th.
Questions for Ashley on item 6.1? Is there a motion?
I move to set a public hearing for November 12th, 2025 at 3:30 PM or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at 3000 Pacific Ave Southeast, room 110, Olympia 98501, to accept and consider public testimony on the permit review process annual code update.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Klaus with a second. We have a motion to set a public hearing for November 12th on the permit review process. Any discussion on the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, sub 2, resolution to increase land use and building fees to achieve full cost recovery for permitting services.
For your consideration today is a resolution to increase land use and building permit fees to achieve full cost recovery for our planning and building permit review programs. This is authorized under state law. Our permit reviews ensure projects comply with zoning, subdivision, environmental, and building safety standards. However, our fee structures haven't been comprehensively updated since 2009, although there have been smaller updates in the intervening years. And our general fund currently subsidizes several permit-related services, including applicant-initiated rezones, UGA changes, mitigation from permit-exempt wells, and public outreach services, amongst others. The proposed strategy before you today includes 4 key updates: full cost recovery through revised land use and building fees, modernized fee structures using a one-time upfront payment model for land use permits, dedicated funds for required stream flow restoration projects, and a 5% technology fee, which is associated with the following agenda item before you today. These changes are expected to reduce the general fund reliance by roughly $1 million within our department, saving up to 10 permit review positions in CPED. We're also hoping it will provide applicants with greater cost clarity, create a sustainable, stable funding model that supports staff capacity and timely permit reviews into the future. We are grateful for all the close coordination with the Central Budget Office, Public Works, and Environmental Health Departments. We also have engaged local builders and developers who, although no one wants to see fees go up, have expressed support for any efforts that would improve predictability in our permit reviews. In closing, we do respectfully request that the board adopt a resolution to approve the increase to our land use and building permit fees and authorize the implementation of the updated permit fee structure in the new year.
Questions for Ashley on this item?
I have a
Commissioner
question.
Claus?
Thank you, Chair. So I appreciate that you engage with the building and development community, in the preparation for today's item on the agenda. Earlier, we heard a comment related to this item, and I'm just wondering if you could speak to any additional outreach efforts that may have gone into this process. I understand that it is within our purview to do this, so if there hasn't been a full outreach plan, I totally understand, but I'd just like to know, based on the comments we heard earlier, if there were other efforts put into this process in terms of letting the public know that this was coming up.
Yeah, so just for clarification on who it would impact, it would only impact those that are coming in for a permit. So essentially paying a fee for a service that we're providing. So in terms of general fund subsidies, right now you have a much greater population paying for permit review for applicants who, have a building permit, mechanical permit or whatnot. That's what the general fund subsidy comes into play. Broader outreach, we do have planned, if this goes through, and that would be outreach like at a building development center. So it's broad in the sense that letting people know that are interested in permits. We have been giving people heads up as they've been coming in and consulting with us that there could be increases. And, beyond that, it's a broader outreach effort through all our communication channels in the coming months.
Thank you.
Questions?
I appreciate your work. We talked about this several times, and what I hear is you are ensuring that we are capturing the costs of doing business from the developers that are proposing that business go on, and that we not use the property taxes that we collect from everyone else to subsidize that developer's request. And that sounds appropriate to me.
Yes, that was the goal in developing a proposal.
And when was the last time we updated these fees again?
A comprehensive update was last done in 2009, and what a recent survey that Kitsap County did, they found that our building permit fees, like our base building permit fees, are significantly lower than 7 other counties in Western Washington. And even with this increase, will still be significantly lower than 6 other counties in Western Washington.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve a resolution to increase land use and building fees to achieve full cost recovery for permitting services.
Second?
Motion and second on this resolution. Any discussion beyond? Okay.
I just want to thank you, Ashley, and your team. The briefing that you gave us on this was actually really excellent. My question was to speak to the comment that we heard today, but I really fully support the work that you're doing, and I appreciate the thorough information you gave us when you did this.
Thank
There
you.
was a board work session that folks can see about the details, and what I liked was I didn't know that our permit fees were, on that lower end. When we didn't, it sounds like that was kind of new information from the Kitsap study, but what I liked is that you found ways to structure it so that there's improvements and things that will help, folks that are applicants, as well as, like you say, nobody wants to pay a higher fee, but there are a whole series of elements to this that hopefully will create an overall smoother and more predictable system. And I encourage the people that are interested in those details to watch that work session, because there's a lot more than we can cover here in this meeting.
What was the date of that work session?
Do you remember? Week or two weeks
It was
ago?
last week.
Feels like about a
14
year
days
ago, but
So that would,
7 days ago.
that would be the 14th, October
Okay,
14th,
October
agenda
14th.
setting. So that would be the 9 o'clock in the morning meeting from.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, one more CPED item, item 3, resolution to implement a technology fee to support permitting software maintenance and replacement.
Yeah. Thank you, commissioners. This is a separate item because it impacts fees of multiple departments, not just CPED. So for your consideration is a resolution to establish a 5% technology fee to maintain and enhance our permitting system. Thurston County is transitioning to a modern digital permitting system. We're all very excited about that. That'll improve efficiency, transparency, and customer service. Investments in tools like the Excella permitting platform, electronic plan review, and online application submittals are essential to providing that timely and predictable service that our community expects. To support these ongoing costs, staff are proposing a 5% technology fee on permits issued through CPED, Environmental Health and Development Review. The fee would fund system licensing, maintenance, digital plan review, online submittal, staff training, and future upgrades. It would be set aside just for those purposes. Staff recommend that the board adopt this resolution to establish the 5% technology fee, which would allow us to maintain and enhance our permitting systems moving forward.
Questions for Ashley on item 3, technology? Nope, is there a motion?
Move to approve a resolution to implement a technology fee to support permitting software maintenance and replacement.
Motion and second regarding technology fee implementation. Any discussion on the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you on behalf of CPED.
Information technology, item 7, sub 1, TCSO Axon contract ownership transfer.
Hello,
Sherry.
Sherry, okay, there you are. Sherry Ilg,
Sherry.
you're on.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioner. Sherry Ilg, IT Director. The initial agreement for Axon cameras and tasers was executed by Central Services because collection for replacement happened as part of ER&R rates. Because the contract is for 10 years and ongoing costs for maintenance and software licensing are all IT related and managed by IT, we are requesting the contract be transferred to IT. And I can answer any questions.
Questions on this item? Nope, is there a motion?
Move to approve the transfer of ownership of Thurston County contract number 2403800018 from Central Services to Information Technology and authorize the IT director to execute the contract and any amendments that do not exceed 10% of the previously approved budget.
Second. Motion and second to approve the Axon contract transfer. Any discussion on the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Sherry.
you.
Yep, you bet. Public Works has the last department item before we go to public comment. And this is an interlocal agreement with Evergreen State College for the sale of anti-icing materials for road operations. Karen.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Karen Weiss, Public Works Director. Public Works requests approval of an interlocal agreement with the Evergreen State College to allow for the purchase of anti-icing materials for a term of 5 years. Anti-icing materials are produced by our Road Operations Division to support winter operations need, providing for public safety and welfare. Contingent on supply, the anti-icing materials are made available for purchase by neighboring jurisdictions. And so this request to approve the ILA will approve the mechanism for Evergreen State College to purchase anti-icing materials on an as-needed basis.
Any questions on this one? Is there a motion?
Move to approve the interlocal agreement between Thurston County and the Evergreen State College for the sale of anti-icing materials for road operations.
Motion is second to approve this interlocal agreement. Any discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Now we're up to public comment related to general matters. I think everybody has heard the advisements. I'm just gonna go through folks. You have 3 minutes and 2:30. I'm hoping we'll get through everybody before the 3:30 public hearings. If not, we'll pause at that point and pick up after the public hearings. Mr. Pettit, you're up first.
Good afternoon. My name is John Pettit. I live at Deschutes River Ranch in East Olympia. I don't know if you happen to notice, but I see a whole lot of orange, a whole lot of people here. You know, you might not notice them because they're public works. Majority of them are located out off of Tilly Road. I even heard stories about maybe going out and painting a road with some of them. The bottom line is they are a phenomenal group. The employees are a phenomenal group of public servants. I didn't say public employees, I said public servants. Why they're here is because they care about Thurston County. Unincorporated area covers half of Thurston County population, roughly. 1,000+ miles. And we have a bad habit that we not only want to take money away from them in terms of the budget, last couple of years, $6.2 million from the road fund. These people are certainly worthy of more pay than what they're getting on the scale. According to your charts here, it says here a commissioner executive aide earns more than a mechanic. I have to tell you, you need to show some appreciation, some love for these people. Now, part of the issue I think could be that I don't think any of you have ever participated in a team. A team is a group of people that work towards a common cause, and particularly road services. Can you imagine having a team, but you're down 14 players? You don't have 14 players you normally would have. Why? Is it the budget? Well, the budget should be there. It's already there, supposedly. But when you are short, try to work and do work when you're a single person, which requires 2 or 3 people. You are the biggest cause of the problem because you are the ultimate managers. Now, we know that there's been a history of problems in this particular portion of Public Works over the past 1.5 to 3 years. And we know we're losing employees. You guys need to do something to help fix this. You need to help be supportive of these people. And if you have a bad manager, you got to get rid of the bad manager. Managers are not trained. Managers are an attitude. And the idea that you have all these people who have taken time out of their day to show up to tell you, I need help, I need you to fix it, is enough. Fix it. Make it better for them. They're the ones who keep us safe throughout the year. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. My name's Terry Ballard. I live in unincorporated Thurston County, and I love every part of Tangawall. This building here was annexed to the city of Olympia in 1964. Okay, you're not supposed to be in it. You're not supposed to be legislating from it. You spent $10 million to fix up a $4 million building we don't own, and we pay $7,000 a day for it. Excuse me, you're not supposed to be here. That's per Article 11, Section 2 of the state constitution. Everybody in the county didn't vote for you to widen the area. And what you're legislating is all null and void, especially for the other one that was defined in every single which way you could say. And then the court dismissed it, meaning you have to be at the county seat. All the officers have to be at the county seat, okay? But there is a RCW 3616.090 that says that they have to be in their respective courthouses, and additional space can be done elsewhere. So if you define the word at being near, close, and far, I wonder how you're going to find in the respective courthouses. Excess liability. For everything you vote that's not right per the RCW, that is a personal liability against your bond, okay? The provided shall not be the liability of the county, your liability. Violations of the acts, like here on a meeting that you're not supposed to be in, okay? The first fine is $5,000 or $500. The second fine is $1,000. That's a violation for you. And the meetings are in 3632.080. Now, getting back to the road fund. You have a copy that I will remember all 5 of you for the rest of my frickin' life. Okay? Which is this. I came up onto a road on a motorcycle ride that I hit 3 holes and went over. And this was Scotch Guard on concrete. I went over, 800-pound bike went over because you want to divert all the money out of the road fund and you want to put it into the general fund so you can stay afloat. Excuse me. I will remember you for the rest of my life. Okay, all 5 of you. Property tax advisory, meaning the shift. Shift is once a year, not as you need a fund, as the road fund. And taking financials offline was real stupid because that is not transparency. Thank you.
Cynthia Bruner is next. Krista Matthews on deck. Okay, Krista Matthews. Okay, Carl Martin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Carl Martin. I serve as the litter crew supervisor for Thurston County. I am the employee who first came forward with concerns about the toxic working conditions at roads. My testimony led to an independent investigation by Deborah Diamond Consulting, which confirmed that 100% of the employees interviewed agreed that the issues I raised were accurate and true. Following that report, 2 members of the Roads Division management team were reassigned and required to attend county paid training. Despite those interventions, there's been no meaningful improvement. The leadership remains the same, fully intact. At the time of my original letter, seasoned employees were already leaving. We now have 14 vacant positions. As with any organization, leadership sets the tone. The problem that we continue to face is that leadership lacks the level of empathy, clear communication, and the ability to build trust or empower staff. Employees constantly report feeling dismissed, undervalued, and unheard. Even after the training, the same abrasive and caustic behavior persists. It must also be acknowledged that the department's leadership is fully aware of these conditions. Yet from an employee's perspective, the response has been simply to move forward and put this behind us, rather than to take corrective action. That is why we're here today, to respectfully go above that level and ask the board to set a new road forward. Unfortunately, this management team has not demonstrated the ability to unite its workforce or restore trust. Even the investigations that suggested that those in leadership positions lack the interpersonal skills required to motivate and engage employees effectively. We are not here just to present a problem, we're here to present a solution. And that solution requires a change in leadership, not another round of coaching that leads nowhere. Roads needs a manager who can bring people together, challenge employees to perform at their best, and comes with a public work background that earns respect through leadership, not authority. Recently, during a county organized training, Supervisor Nick Bemis made it clear that he had no intention on changing. He believed that he did nothing wrong and would not apologize. What kind of statement follows when investigation and training proves that there's no internal program that will correct the problem or bad behavior? If leadership cannot acknowledge mistakes, then retraining becomes an exercise in pretending. You cannot fix what someone refuses to admit is broken. So the question becomes, why are these individuals being protected over an entire workforce asking for change? As winter sets in, our crews are ready to stand in, even with 14 vacant positions. The question is, will leadership stand by us? Thank you.
Sam Fremont.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sam Fremont. I live in West Olympia. I've worked for Thurston County for 8 years.
I'm a shop steward for AFSCME 618T, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the road crew. I'm not with Public Works. I work for Fleet Services. So I can't personally speak to management's behaviors, but I can say this. I see this crew every single day. For years, I knew everyone's names. They were a happy-go-lucky bunch, but today it's different. Now I see people who stare at the ground, who dread coming to work, people desperately searching for new jobs. Some have even told me that they've had to start new medications for anxiety and blood pressure just to get through the day. That's not normal. That's not healthy, and it's not sustainable. Unlike the last few of your meetings, we're not here to ask for money. What we want is free. It's dignity and respect. What we want will save the county hundreds of thousands of dollars. We understand the decisions you're making aren't easy. Our unanimous vote of no confidence wasn't easy either. It took years of bullying, hostility, retaliation, with years of our experience running out the door for us to finally stand up and say enough is enough. Management, they did make temporary changes, separating the problematic leadership, and morale did slightly improve. Vacancies and turnovers, not so much. Roads manager Mike Lohman did accept accountability. He apologized and he pledged to do better. Nick Bemis, on the other hand, has doubled down, stating he's done nothing wrong and won't change a thing when he returns to roads. Now they're asking us to help them reintegrate Nick back to the crew. Keeping Nick from returning was our #1 priority, and we were turned down by the Public Works Director. Now people are stressing out again. You can't continue working 14 people down. We can't continue giving 130% to make up for management's failures. Turnover is expensive. Turnover this high is incredibly expensive. The problem must stop. If not for employee satisfaction, then do it for the budget. This situation is costing taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, and it's going to continue unless visible change is made. Qualified people are not applying for these jobs, and if we can't offer more money, the least we can do is offer a safe, respectable environment where all employees feel supported and valued. As I'm sitting here, I'm reading your vision. Thurston County is a vibrant community ensuring the health, safety, and well-being of generations to live, work, and play. Well, we work here. We don't feel safe. We feel like our well-being's being pushed aside. You can't have a successful mission if the employees carrying it out don't feel safe, healthy, or their well-being is cared for. If management is unwilling to part with these toxic leaders, maybe it's time we think outside the box. We do have some solutions. San Juan County's answer to a similar issue was the 32-hour work week.
Need you to wrap up.
Their turnover dropped by 43%. Separations dropped by 48%. It became 23% faster to fill open positions, and the county saved approximately $975,000 in the first year. That's not budget dust. Thank you for your time.
I have a name I can't totally read, and they didn't say whether they wanted to provide public comments. Scott and Tanya Page? Okay, very good. Melanie Rabaglia. Rochelle Martin on deck.
Hi, my name is Melanie Rabalia. I do not live in Thurston County, but I am a worker here. I work for the Public Works Department. More specifically, I work in real estate services, the right-of-way section. I am not a roads employee, but those are my union brothers and sisters. So, last week, Commissioner Emily came to me and said, "Thank you for speaking. Thank you for your courage." I replied with a laugh. I'm a New Yorker. It's not courage. We just speak our minds. That started me thinking. Influenced by The Wizard of Oz, I will quote from that, the wizard speaking to the lion, quote, "You have plenty of courage, I'm sure," said Oz. "All you need is confidence in yourself. There is no living thing that is not afraid when it faces danger. True courage is in facing danger when you are afraid, and that kind of courage you have in plenty," unquote. I thought about why it takes courage. What's the danger? Retaliation. Negative actions taken in response to a person's courage. Specific examples in workplace contexts involve being fired, demoted, denied a promotion or a raise, or given a less desirable job assignment. Other forms of retaliation can include an employee being subjected to increased scrutiny, negative performance reviews, a change in work hours or schedules. Quiet retaliation, an employee who reports a problem suddenly finds their work life getting tougher, but in ways they're hard to pinpoint or prove. These actions are being taken against them are usually subtle enough that leaders overlook them, brush them off, or doubt them entirely. The subtle, hard-to-prove actions include professional isolations, exclusions from meetings or projects, and micromanagement. These are intended to punish the employee without overt, easily provable actions like a demotion or a firing. These types of retaliation can be difficult to prove because the employee may provide pretextual reasons for their actions. So the next thing is that what happens is the employee sends an email department-wide with the subject being, "I quit." Read one of those last week. Things have changed a lot since I've been here since 1992. We've grown as a county, more people, more commissioners, more issues, concerns, more growing pains. We've developed processes, procedures, ultimately a chain of command. Flaws in that chain of command include slow decision-making due to multiple layers of approval, and hindered innovation and creativity because lower-level employees feel their ideas are diminished by management or they're confined to their specific department/section with no need to collaborate with others. There is a decrease in employee empowerment as authority is concentrated at the top. Lower-level employees have limited authority to make decisions, forcing them to seek permission from supervisors for even small problems. Together with reduced motivation, a lack of initiative, as employees may not feel motivated to generate new ideas if they have to repeatedly explain to multiple upper levels to get action on them. I know, wrap it up. Here before you, the agenda presenters are the department's heads and managers who don't know all the details, the nuances of the situations, request proposals, asking them and thanking lower level staff for being available to answer questions. The lower level workforce understands about the budget issues and have ideas on ways to save money. Empowering employees help identify the fat. It's as simple as a suggestion box.
Bill Martin and then Tanya Sullivan.
Hi, my name is Rochelle Martin. I'm the president of the Thurston Lewis Mason Central Labor Council, where we represent all of organized labor in those 3 counties. I'm here to support my siblings that have been struggling and yelling at you for help for the last few years. The vote of no confidence is, the fact that it has gone unaddressed is completely galling. So I'm not only the president of the Labor Council, I'm also a WFC executive board member. So I have been a part of Council 2, which is what 618 is. There are tens of thousands of union members that are part of that. WFC Council 28 also has tens of thousands of people. So I'll keep this really short. We like to, union people solve things at the lowest level possible. There was lots of interviews that happened. There was consultants that got paid out of tax dollar money. And then nothing happened. And so then there was a vote of no confidence, and then nothing happened. Now you have people that are in front of you begging for your help, and let's see if something happens. And if it doesn't happen today, what is it going to take for you to actually support these people that are your employees? So I appreciate you standing up and actually being worker friendly, which I'm sure you all claim to be. Now is your opportunity to show that you actually support the workers that our tax dollars pay for. So I appreciate my siblings taking the time off of work to show up and say, you guys need to do your job and support the workers that are in front of you. Thank you.
Tanya Sullivan and then Paul Enders.
Thank you. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Tanya Sullivan. I'm a homeowner in the Friendly Grove area, City of Olympia. Also an employee at the Thurston County Prosecutor's Office and president of Local 618. Today, I am here in solidarity with the membership of Local 618T, the bargaining unit representing employees in the Public Works Road Operations Division. I stand before you today because our members, your dedicated public employees, continue to experience a workplace environment that is far from what they deserve and far from what this community expects.
Months ago, they took the significant step of holding a vote of no confidence in Road Operations Manager Mike Lohman and Supervisor Nick Bemis. This wasn't a decision that was made lightly, but it reflected the seriousness of the issues that they face every single day. Management styles that an independent assessment described as directive and direct, creating distrust, alienation, and most critically, destroying the collaboration and respect our workplace desperately needs. The consultant's report confirmed what our members have been saying for years. This management style is directly tied to high employee turnover, low morale, and the failure to gain real support for needed cultural changes. Day after day, employees say that their input gets ignored and their concerns are dismissed. How can we create a healthy, productive, and respectful workplace on this basis? We acknowledge that Public Works leadership has made some efforts, listening sessions, staff reassignments, management training, but these measures fail to address the root problem. Moving a supervisor is a Band-Aid, not a cure. The underlying issues of respect, trust, and meaningful communication remain unresolved. Too often, management frames these deep-seated problems as mere resistance to operational changes rather than recognizing them for what they truly are, leadership failures. The employees of the Road Operations Division takes immense pride in serving Thurston County. They want to work, they deserve to work in an environment free of intimidation, where their voices matter and their contributions are valued. We have repeatedly asked for genuine collaboration and respect. What have we received instead? More top-down directives and little substantive change. On behalf of Local 618 and every worker who serves this county with dedication, I am asking you, the members of the Board of County Commissioners, to recognize the urgency of the situation. It's time to move beyond symbolic gestures. We need immediate, decisive, and meaningful change. Leadership that genuinely values its employees, rebuilds the trust and that has been broken, and fosters the positive workplace culture that both our hardworking staff and the public rightfully expect from Thurston County. Thank you for your time and your commitment to addressing this critical matter.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Paul Andrews. I live within Thurston County. I've been an employee of Public Works for over 18 years, public service for almost 30. I'm also the Vice President of 618, the local. I'm the officer of 618 CO, which is a courthouse group, and a past chapter chair of 618T. When I look out here, I see union brothers and sisters, I see coworkers, and I see many friends within this group. And just to let you know and understand, there are 325 plus CO members that are backing these guys and will stand with whatever they decide to do going forward. Thank you.
Charlotte Persons.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Persons from Northeast Olympia, and I'm here actually on behalf of the Local Good Governance Coalition, a coalition of 9 environmental and affordable housing organizations in the county. And I'm here to present a petition to you. It was initiated by Local Good Governance Coalition, and the signatures were gathered between the 2nd of July and the 17th of August. But no one was available to present this petition to you because it has to come at the end of your meeting, and there's no way for us to know when that will be, and we're busy people. So the petition asks you to return to previous procedures for giving public comment, especially the provision that you're now sort of trying out, where people who wish to comment on items not on the agenda now have to wait until an unspecified time after the commissioners' meeting to testify. This new process does not respect people's time and discourages public comment. And it's especially bad for working people or busy people. So one thing is that we ask that you go ahead and terminate this new process. Don't wait until the end of the 6-month trial period, but end it now or as soon as you can. Thank you.
There are other folks in the room who'd like to give public comment. I don't have anyone else signed up. Go ahead, ma'am.
I usually don't do this. These guys know me really well. I am a retiree from Thurston County Public Works.
Please say your name.
I am Sherry Newmeyer. I live in Tenino, Washington. I worked 29 years with that group over there, 23 of it in our retirement system, and I thank you guys, but I'm ashamed of my 5 commissioners. These guys put their lives on the road every day. Do you guys know what they do in the middle of the night when a deputy has got the road shut down? Do you know the hours they spend sandbagging? So when the Chehalis River goes over, somebody's house ain't going to get flooded? Do you know how many hours they spend in training the younger generation? No, because you guys don't care. If you cared, you would listen to their cries for help. When I left in June of 24, there was 2 people that made my retirement miserable. Nick Bemis and Mike Lohman. Nick Bemis allowed 3 crew chiefs to belittle me because I cannot do computers. I am 67 years old, but I guarantee you, every one of those guys and women in orange put their life on the line for you guys in Thurston County, and you don't appreciate them. And I'm sorry to be ashamed of my commissioners because I never have been, but I'm proud to have been an employee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Betsy Norton. I live in Olympia. I just have a question for you. You went through the consent calendar and approved 1 through 18. Does that mean that you have scheduled the Black Lake Quarry rezone hearing for exactly the same time as the SEPA process review?
We
can get back to you on that.
It happened one after another. We often stack public hearings because there's only certain days they can happen. They'll happen one after another.
Okay,
So they might be, it's very, like we have 2 today, so it wouldn't surprise me if we have 2 on the 12th of November.
okay. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Anyone else for,
Anyone online?
I'll get there. Check in the room. Okay, anyone online? Who is here for public comment? Okay, thank you all for your comment, and we'll go to the next agenda item, which is commissioner reports. And you should be able to get those done before our public hearings. Commissioner Mejia, would you like to start?
Skip me for now, sorry.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I'm good, but I just wanted to let everybody know I have to leave at 3:15 to go to the Visitor Convention Bureau meeting.
Okay. These folks kind of scuttle out, since we've got recording.
Okay, Chair, I'm ready. I apologize. I had to log in.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Mejia.
Okay, thank you. I attended the Future of Work that was hosted by the Chamber, and this is since our last Board of County Commissioners meeting on October 7th. Attended a retreat for the Partnership Council of Juvenile Justice in Marysville. Attended the Senate Local Government Committee tour with Commissioner Fournier. Thank you so much for Public Works for helping establish that. We've had 2 meetings for the BHASO since our last meeting, and then also attended the Indigenous Peoples' Day celebration with the Squaxin Island Tribe. Attended a TC Media Advisory Committee meeting, and this was something that I recently got invited to join and participate in. Attended the Tumwater School District Principals Breakfast with Commissioner Menser. And then we had 2 ribbon cuttings, the Boston Harbor Water and Sewer Utilities ribbon cutting, as well as the Tamashan water sewers utility ribbon cutting. So those were attended by commissioners. Attended intercity transit, the NACO Rural Action Caucus meeting, study meeting in Bucota. And also after that, we had a long day TRPC Executive Director preliminary interviews. And the second set of interviews will be coming up in November. Attended the Federal Issues Committee meeting and also attended the Weaving Together Our Stories staff training and the showing of the movie Fish War the next night. And I want to really give a heartfelt thank you to Willie Frank for bringing us in and sharing with us. And also thank you to the South Puget Sound Community College and the Equity Coalition for partnering with us and hosting this training and community event. I have heard so many positive comments from staff who attended the training and who also went to the showing of the movie, as well as from community members. We had a wonderful presentation at the Fish War showing from the Lumi tribe and their canoe family. And so it was just a wonderful event all around. Attended the Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking at Yelm. I did miss the speeches, but I did hear that Commissioner Grant did a wonderful job. And then attended the Bucota casket races. And so although we got second place, I want to congratulate to Commissioner Grant's team. I want to remind that this is the highest we have ever gotten. And we beat the port, so there is a positive. So it was a good year. I also want to thank Todd Mason for lending us his casket and for decorating it. And a huge thank you to George Sharp and the town of Bucota for hosting us. Attended the Wasac Virtual Assembly yesterday, and then also attended a Thurston Forward Planning meeting, as well as the Thurston County Lead meeting. And other than that, I've just been involved with budget discussions with a whole array of people, both here at the county as well as commissioners and council members from around the state.
Commissioner Fournier, you go ahead, Commissioner Grant.
Commissioner Grant, that's me.
Yes.
Yes, all right. So yep, it's been busy. We've been busy since the last time we met. Let's see, some of the boards and commissions that I've attended. The Criminal Justice Training Account statewide meeting, I attended that. Innovative Justice meeting, statewide 911 Advisory Committee meeting, the Nisqually River Council meeting, which I want to just stop and say a couple things about that. We had a couple of presentations during that meeting that were really interesting. And one of them was in discussion around, we had a whole presentation around Eatonville, the Eatonville dump. There was a dump in Eatonville at one point in time, and there was a cleanup project with over $14 million of cleanup efforts done. And they've officially gotten to the point where this cleanup is making a difference, and it's huge impact on our watershed restoration for the Nisqually watershed. So just some really interesting information going on around that. And then attended the WASAC, or the Washington State Association of Counties Federal Issues Committee, the National Association of Counties Rural Action Caucus meeting, the West Regional meeting, attended the State Advisory Council on Homelessness quarterly meeting, and then attended the WASAC Virtual Assembly this week, talking about the local Board of Health new rules that will be put into place. I also attended for a few days the local Board of Health training in Ellensburg, and got together with other folks in across the state to talk about what local boards of health do and how we can be a part of that. Attended the newly elected officials roundtable that WASAC, our Washington State Association of Counties, puts on. And then locally, I've been doing some things. So I attended the Yelm Chamber Forum, meet the candidates, the Yelm City Council meeting, and I wanted to give a couple updates on Yelm. That in the future, there will be, and I don't have the date here, but there will be officially a huge Lego Days competition happening in Yelm. And so if anyone's interested in Legos, just be looking and on the outlook for this, but this is going to be something new. It's a touring Lego competition that goes on and it brings small towns together. So that will be coming. And the other exciting thing going on in Yelm is that the new water tower is now operational. And it is, it will be bringing 1.5 times the capacity of water that was there before. The current water tower has 1.3 and this one is 1.5. So Yelm has accomplished a really major feat by getting this new water tower in place and officially up and operational. I also attended the Boston Harbor Water and Sewer ribbon cutting. Sorry to have missed the Tamashan this week. I was out. Attended the steady meeting in Bucota. And then hosted, let's see, was at the Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking in Yelm where I spoke. I want to give a shout out and a thank you to the McLeod family who was there to bless the land. And then attended and emceed the Bucota pumpkin pie eating contest, which was really fun. And the Bucota casket races we attended and obviously had some fun and competition. I put together a team. I was the general manager of that team. I did not run while these guys worked really hard and did run. However, my team did win. And we took home both the first place race prize and the first place in costumes. And we were a team of recovering addicts who ran to run and outrun the sheriff. And so it was quite the exciting thing. The last thing I'll say is that we had an incredibly well-attended Civics 101 workshop last night. Pizza and Politics is what it was called in Yelm. We had over 30 attendees show up with 6 students from the local high school. And we'll be having another one of those on November 3rd, where it will be civics trivia and encouraging people to come out and learn about local politics, what it means to be involved and that's my last thing is I also want to mention that our Transportation Policy Board, I attended the recruitment. We have a recruitment team working together to try to get new members. And so we have 2 openings on the Transportation Policy Board, one for a business representative and one for a community representative. And we're really encouraging people to look, that is open now, the recruitment, and we hope that people will sign up and be interested in having a voice in transportation planning across our county. So that's it. No, Transportation Policy Board, which is part of the TRPC.
Subcommittee on Transportation.
What's here? So Transportation.
Thurston.
Regional Planning.
Thanks. Thurston. Yeah, Thurston Regional Planning Council. Yeah, volunteers. Yep.
Commissioner Klaus, you're up.
All right, thank you, Chair. So let's see. My executive aide attended the monthly Community Built for Zero meeting on October 14th, where the team reviewed updated data showing progress toward reducing veteran homelessness by December 2025 and achieving functional zero by 2026. They discussed improving data accuracy, refining the internal bypass process, and relaunching the Southside Resource Committee to strengthen coordination and access to local housing resources amid ongoing capacity and policy challenges. I also attended the Local Progress Pride Caucus Leadership Committee meeting on October 14th. I attended the Boston Harbor Water and Sewer Utilities ribbon cutting with some of my seatmates on the 15th. I also attended the Weaving Together Our Stories presentation with Willie Frank and want to echo Commissioner Mejia's gratitude to him for putting that event on. I learned a lot and it was very, very touching to learn about the history of the tribe here in Thurston County, the Nisqually tribe. And I haven't stopped talking about it since it happened. I really did learn a lot about the history of our county. So that was a great event. Let's see, I also attended the South Sound Military Communities Partnership Behavioral Health Forum as the commissioner that's appointed to that body. We don't meet very often, but we actually only have one annual meeting, and so this was the first opportunity outside of the annual meeting to connect with that group, and it was really well organized. That happened up at Lakewood City Council Chambers, and although it was a really good event, it really highlighted some disturbing trends among youth of military families and some of the challenges they're facing with their mental health and increased suicide rates amongst young kids. And it was very, very concerning. So there was a call for connection between community behavioral health organizations and programs with the behavioral health resources available on base at JBLM. And I do have contact information for the folks who spoke at that meeting. There was a psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist that works on base, a colonel that oversees a large portion of the base, and just a couple others who manage TRICARE and things like that. So a lot of really good representatives, and there's a lot of work to be done. That's kind of what was highlighted at the forum. They did one of the, I don't know who's been a part of an event that has the Menti board thing where it's like you download the app or get on the website, and there's like a centralized place where there are questions that each participant in the audience can answer, and then you see the answers up on the screen. And some of the questions that they asked were, how well are we coordinating behavioral health services between the military base and the community? And many people answered it needs a lot of improvement, or there is no collaboration happening at all. So, and not a single person, and there were about 50 to 60 people in attendance, not a single person said that it was going well. So there are lots of gaps that were identified during that forum, and it was very educational, but a lot of work to be done. I also attended the Bucota Spooktacular Casket Races. Congratulations to Mummies of Recovery. There were a lot of pretty funny comments that I heard in the audience about the races, just watching. And it was the first time I got to attend the races, so it was the first time I got to see it, and I was happy to cheer my seatmates on. And just watching the Mummies of Recovery take the trophy at the end of the day was really something to see. I also attended the Olympia Mutual Aid Partners Homeless Services Community Connections event over the weekend. I was a speaker at the event, and it was a great turnout. Commissioner Mintzer was there as well. And it was a good opportunity to bring together providers, decision makers, and community members to network and discuss local issues around homelessness and housing justice. Then the last part was the Tamashan Water and Sewer Utilities ribbon cutting, which I attended yesterday, and we were blessed by the presence of Jack the dog at the ribbon cutting. So for those who missed out, ribbon cutting events actually have dogs in attendance. It turns out the last two, we got to see some pups to pet, so that was nice. But that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Okay, meetings I had were the Building Code Council meeting, Innovative Justice, lot board meeting, a set of interviews for lot, hiring a lobbyist, and Sensing Guideline Commission. Community events included the Tumwater Education Foundation breakfast, the Oli Map event that Commissioner Klaus did a good job at on Sunday. Senior services for the South Sound Gala, the daffodil planting that we saw in the beginning of the meeting, a realtors forum given at Little Creek that was Mason County and Thurston County realtors did some panels on things that are obstructing affordable housing. The ribbon cuttings for Boston Harbor, Tamashan, and Habitat for Humanity. Commissioner Grant did do a great job at Habitat for Humanity, and it was very inspiring. The Nisqually Indian tribe, presentation that we had, weaving stories together. Everybody said, I agree with what everyone said about that. Casket races were a lot of fun. And that was about it. So.
Pictures of your face during that casket race were the best.
There-
You could tell Commissioner Mintzer was in the zone.
Doing my best.
Working hard. You worked so hard.
I
Yeah.
did as well. I'm still sore from
Yep.
it. I'm still sore.
So am I.
All right, well, it's 3:22. We're adjourned. We'll convene in 8 minutes for our 2 public hearings. Thanks, everybody. Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners Public Hearing for this Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, 3:32 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. Vice Chair Commissioner Fournier is excused at another meeting at this point. Commissioner Mejia to my right, Commissioners Grant and Commissioner Klaus to my left. Assistant County Manager Jennifer Walker and Joshua Cummings, Clerk of the Board Amy Davis. Purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment. Now, there's two, so we're going to start with the draft 2025-2030 local homeless housing plan, 5-year homeless housing plan. This is a hybrid public hearing. Oh, just up front, this is not being live streamed due to technical issues, but is being recorded on Zoom, and there is participation, correct? Yeah. So there is ability to participate through Zoom, just not through for the live stream portion. We're getting to fixing that problem, but at this point, the Zoom recording will be posted to the Thurston County YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. So this is a hybrid public hearing. As I said, those wishing to testify have joined by Zoom, emailed in comment, or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the county homepage online. This is more of an advisement for live streaming, but there's tabs there about BOC meetings, hearings, and work session agendas, then meetings and agendas, how to join remotely. It's posted there. Tom Webster, Senior Program Manager, will provide some background information on the topic. Those who will be called, who are in the room, those who are on Zoom do not need to sign up. I will call for anyone who wishes to testify. You have 3 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, state your name and address for the record. And so here we go with a public hearing is now open. Ask Tom Webster to join at the podium to present background information on the proposed plan, summarize any written comments submitted, and provide any additional information requested by the board. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster with the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention. So the Washington State Department of Commerce requires each county statewide to submit a 5-year homeless housing plan detailing how local needs, resources, and priorities will accumulate in a comprehensive work plan for the county's homeless response system. So this new 5-year plan is due to Commerce in December of 2025 to reflect the period of 2025 through 2030. Department of Commerce requires that we hold the plan is posted for public comment for 30 days and that we hold a public hearing. Our office has worked with community stakeholders to draft the 2025 to 2030 local homeless housing plan. The public comment period began on September 18th and will close after today's meeting. The plan meets the requirements of the Department of Commerce and presents strategies and tasks under 5 broad objectives. Those objectives are to promote an equitable, accountable, and transparent homeless crisis response system, to strengthen the homeless service provider workforce, to prevent episodes of homelessness whenever possible, prioritize assistance based on the greatest barriers to housing stability and the greatest risk of harm, and to seek to house everyone in a stable setting that meets their needs. To date, we have received 7 written comments via email. We've submitted those to you, and in summary, I would categorize them in 2 broad kind of groups. One is folks who had comments who were looking for more information or greater detailed tasks related to the development of housing and affordable housing. And another set of comments that really focused on seeking greater detail around serving unsheltered populations. We appreciate all the comments that have been submitted. We will take those comments as well as comments received today under consideration as we finalize the plan. We will then bring a final plan to the Regional Housing Council in November and back to this board for formal approval, probably in late November, early December for your formal approval before submission to the Department of Commerce. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So, you know, for us right now, all we're doing is just listening to public comment, staff's listening, accumulating all of that information that then is going to be, you know, either implemented or included or not included into the plan. And then the RHC is the one who's going to make that recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners on the final.
That is correct. Yes,
Okay.
that's an excellent summary.
Okay. I just probably repeated what you said, but I just needed to
Yep.
work out the process in my head. Thank you.
Anything else for Tom? Okay, I'll call for, thank you.
Thank you.
Call for public comment. First up, Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have a question on these homeless. I mean, in the pit report in 2023, we gained over 200 homeless. We were at 800, now we're at 1,000. What are we doing to get rid of, not get rid of, to help the homeless? What we're doing is we're housing them, we're feeding them, we're clothing them, we're providing them every living standard that we can, okay? And we're not providing any conditions. We're giving Olympia money for homeless, shaving off whatever money we get for their homeless. What are they doing? How many homeless do you guys have in your districts? You don't know. Okay. I'm looking at a pit report. I'm concerned about the veteran homeless, but I'm not concerned because, you know, I've already discussed that. We can, the VA will clothe them, house them, do everything possible to get a job and everything else. And we're talking about housing, adequate housing. Well, there's a Thurston County Housing Authority, and they don't even take money from us. They provide housing to people that are people. They look at the job, they pay a little bit more and more and more until they're adequate to actually house their people. I mean, we can create as much housing as you want. We can do the homeless hotel over there off of Marvin Road. We can have a homeless hotel, but what are we doing to provide assistance to actually get them off the street? One of the 501c3s did a survey. 87% of the homeless have a drug addiction. The next 4% has unrelated, has a mental illness, not saying that they have a mental illness. What are we providing for them? When they commit a crime, are we helping them? Because that's the only way we can help them is when they commit a crime. I had a homeless guy take in my remodel. He stole everything he could out of the remodel. We're talking thousands of dollars, about $14,000 of equipment and everything else that I had stored in this remodel. Went out the front door. I caught him. He had paraphernalia, he had drugs, he had everything on him. Okay, he spent time through Christmas. Okay, and was let go by the court, saying that the court had all these conditions to help him. All these conditions to get a job, to help him through life and everything else, but none of the conditions were met. None. And then the prosecuting attorney's office doesn't even have a collection anymore. So I'm out about $14,000 because of a homeless guy, and we're not taking care of him. He was back on the street, tearing up my political signs and everything else, and they would not help a homeless. I see homeless in the city of Lacey. Okay. And it says, no, it says that they can't be in the, like next to Fred Meyer, next to wherever, because the code says that they can't be panhandling. And they're not even doing that as well. So how are we helping homeless? Are we just paying the 501c3s with a salary so they can keep the homeless homeless? You have the right, you have the power to have conditions for everything that you distribute. Okay, we had 15 social workers and now we're down to 10 in the department. Is that how we treat the homeless? We just off the money to some 501c3? You have the power.
Mr. Bell, you need to wrap up.
You have the power to, I'll finish up, sir. You have the power to say, hey, this money's going to be spent this way, but you don't do it. Thank you.
Chair, it might be helpful for those that weren't here earlier for you to read the rules for public comment.
I can do that. We have a set of rules. I go through them during the board meetings, public hearings, not usually, but here we go. When you're called, introduce yourself in the area you reside in the county, address the board, not audience or staff, silence your cell phones. Board does not directly respond. County manager may follow up with specific items. That's more for the 2 p.m. meetings. Speakers have 3 minutes to address the board. You cannot donate speaking time to another speaker. Please be respectful. Board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address a meeting for good cause. No comments that are lewd, offensive, inflammatory, no outbursts, no comments that are commercial in nature. Withhold remarks about pending land use permits, no electioneering, and any written material will be considered a public record and subject to release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 RCW. So with those advisements, Ty Gundel with Angelica Wilson on deck. Yeah, just so you're ready.
Good afternoon. My name is Ty Gundel, and I serve as the Executive Director of Olympia Mutual Aid Partners, a local homeless services organization that provides long-term shelter, medical respite, hazardous weather, and year-round outreach, shelter-in-place, harm reduction, and care navigation services. I am here to share feedback on the current draft of the county's 5-year homeless response plan on behalf of our organization. We greatly appreciate having the opportunity to share the feedback and for any consideration given to it. We did also submit a written public comment, including a short summary of both our support for the current plan and some specific strategies and tasks that we believe are important to add before it's finalized. I do want to first share our wholehearted support for everything that is currently included in the plan. The strategies, priorities, and tasks currently included, we believe are very much needed to maintain and improve the effectiveness of our local homeless crisis response system. Though the draft of the 5-year plan does recognize outreach and shelter-in-place services as key needs several times, there are also some strategies and tasks specific to our community's response to unsheltered homelessness in camp communities that are not included that we believe are key for maintaining and improving the equity and effectiveness of our local homeless response efforts. And we would like to request their consideration for inclusion before the plan is finalized. Outreach and shelter-in-place services have gained a lot of recognition in our community as essential elements of supporting responses to homelessness that are low barrier, harm reductive, equitable, accessible, that meet people where they are, and which significantly support stabilization, improved safety and connection to life-saving supports and services, including improved shelter and housing for people experiencing homelessness. To address what we see as some of the important missing pieces of the plan, we are suggesting that the following tasks or strategies be added. 1, a task targeted at maintaining, improving, and expanding year-round outreach and shelter-in-place services. The plan does currently include that for hazardous weather-specific outreach and shelter-in-place services, but we'd love to see something that acknowledges the need for that year-round. A task specific to identifying additional places where people surviving outdoors can shelter in place when there are not enough shelter or housing options available to meet immediate sheltering needs. Also, a strategy or task targeted at better aligning community strategies and expectations for responding to camp communities and camp community closures, specifically strategies that aim to reduce forced displacement and criminalization, and which rely on outreach, shelter in place, harm reduction, and service and shelter connections. Outside of tasks and strategies specific to outreach and unsheltered homelessness, we also want to encourage the addition of a task targeted at expanding and creating new low barrier shelter options or shelter options that are even lower barrier than the ones that we currently have. The reality is that we still have a lot of folks where the shelters that are currently available still have barriers that are too high for them. We also want to ask for a task aimed at working with providers to maintain and expand medical respite options, and a task aimed at investing and improving wages and benefits for the homeless crisis response workforce, which is also greatly needed. Thanks again for your time.
Angelica Wilson.
My name is Angelica, and I think I was told to come in because of my story. I was in foster care, was adopted, have autism spectrum disorder, was denied my high school education because I was a homeless youth. I was in school, in the 21 plus program, and I got hit by a car and was kidnapped. I learned that I could have VAWA, but it took a lot of years to learn that I could get VAWA, and I tried to get placement under VAWA, but there's a freeze. And so, there's questions about financing and stuff like that, and it's making it really hard for me to move. I think we need more programs around autism, people in the LGBTQIA community, people that are in the Hispanic community, I'm trying to protect my nephews and nieces. They are in foster care and they just got out. My sister's finally sober. And I have a medical accommodation that's getting denied because I'm in a federal tax property. In that federal tax property, my apartment is higher rent than I'm in a 2-bedroom and it's my rent is higher than a 3-bedroom only because I'm on a Section 8 voucher. I think we need protections around these federal tax properties that are owned by big management companies. I was displaced in my car for 3 months on a Section 8 voucher because I didn't have legal support. I wasn't being evicted. I have a 700 credit score. It's higher than that. And I'm on Social Security. I am going to school and I'm trying to go to work. And I would really like to make sure that our system's still appropriately in place, that I'm getting the support that I need. I do not have access to proper healthcare because my healthcare, I'm on a waiting list for 3 years for autism spectrum. We don't have support in Thurston County around autism spectrum. And that becomes a problem because it creates barriers for a person with autism, because it creates things like, I forget, systemic. If you're having to see somebody that's not specialized in autism spectrum, then you're having to see somebody that's getting paid more, that is not clinically able to see somebody with autism. So they're using the DSM-5, they're getting paid a little bit more, but they don't understand the spectrum. So then they add other things that may look like mental health, like a chemical imbalance, and they're treating it wrong. So I'm advocating for my nephew, I'm advocating for my niece, I'm advocating for myself and the kids in foster care and the people that are in the LGBTQ, Indigenous, and people that are vulnerable adults that are living in tax write-off properties that don't have rights, and they're not being threatened with, they're being physically touched, not being trapped in their car in the middle of snow for 3 months, and not having any legal recourse to help keep them housed or moved into a safe place that has a lease for 12 months rather than a month to month, where they keep jacking up the rent. So I hope that you guys can figure out how to help that situation. I was told to be here. I didn't know why, so I didn't write why I was here.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anyone else in the room who did not get a chance to sign up, who would like to give comment? Yes, sir. Wait till you get up to the mic and then you can, you have 3 minutes.
Readdress the problem I have. I live in 5701 6th Avenue Southwest, Tumwater. The last time I was here, I brought the issue of this problem with emissions coming through Tumwater. It's personally affected me, and it goes on and on. I don't know if you're involved in the planning in this county for the amount of traffic has increased. I see it on a daily basis. I have to deal with inhaling the emissions when I ride the public transportation every day. That's my means of transportation. I was born in California. I left 40 years ago because I didn't matter to the state of California. Before I left, I placed my grievance to the lawmakers of the state of California that Kaiser Steel, which was one of the biggest polluters in Southern California at that time in 1983, did not stop when they affected thousands and thousands of people. I was there 3 years ago to bury my father, okay? The EPA declared that property, Kaiser Steel in Fontana, California, as a superfund. Just like recently in 2017, where there was litigation between the state of Washington and the federal EPA. There's probably about 6 sites in Tumwater that they're making an effort to clean it up. But my personal health I'm suspecting that there's other contaminants that they're not looking for or overlooking them. As far as what interests that the county commissioners can do for a citizen. If we're going to collaborate with the state and their duty to clean up these messes, to monitor the air quality, the water quality, and in a vigilant effort to do so.
Time's up.
Name,
We need you to wrap up.
name new contractors to take to submit the recorded readings from those spectrum analyzers that are up there and where they're located.
Okay,
far as I know,
I need you to wrap up.
Okay.
Our time's up and we're here to talk about the homeless plan, so I let you go ahead and give your comment, but your time is now up. I need to move on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wants to give public comment? Okay, well, I let it go, so he had his 3 minutes.
Thank you for your time, commissioners. My name is Ziggy Frazier. I'm a resident here in Thurston County. And I had a few comments and questions about the county housing plan. I was looking at the expenditures and I had a question, particularly the past expenditures, and I wanted to know if you had some clarification on this. I noticed that so the total expenditure is not including emergency shelter funds. Does that include the staff pay, like the paying the salaries and the wages of the service staff, or is that just for the services themselves, like just for rental assistance? Do you know?
This is not a question and answer session. We can write things down and follow
So
up with you.
if I were to assume that the expenditures are purely for service provision and not for wages or salaries, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at like over $20 million spent on housing resources. And what that means to me is that's $20 million in landlord subsidies. So that's $20 million paid out of taxpayer dollars and grants, essentially to pay the living expenses of landlords. And I think that there are probably better uses of those funds. I have a couple, primarily I noticed that objective 5 was to seek to house everyone in a stable setting that meets their needs. And I wonder why this isn't the primary objective, why this wouldn't be moved up to objective 1. I had a couple comments on objective 3 as well. Which was to prevent episodes of homelessness wherever possible. I support the idea of developing a housing stabilization tracking system to prevent voucher subsidy expiration or delays. I think that's a great idea, all for it. How can we help? Although, and this goes into my first comment as well, I find myself kind of adverse to the idea of a landlord spotlight in quarterly newsletters, recognizing landlords for excellence and participation. Again, I kind of just feel as this plays into my belief that, you know, we're essentially subsidizing landlords. And I think that if there was a different pedagogy in terms of our approach to housing as a human right, as opposed to a resource, as opposed to a commodity, I believe that that could cut out a lot of our efforts in terms of landlord engagement because it wouldn't be as necessary. And I think also that I just wanted to point out that in the survey that went out prior to the housing plan, and which clearly affected the drafting of the housing plan, over 50% of the respondents were homeowners. I understand that, you know, we do what we can to get a broad and diverse array of respondents in these, but I do think that that should color our interpretation of the housing plan. You know, over 50% of the respondents are not people who are engaged in homeless services, who have ever engaged in homeless services, or who have ever really predicted having a need to engage in homeless services. So while I recognize those voices are important, yeah, and I hear that my time is gone. So thank you very much for your time, commissioners, and appreciate you.
Thank you.
Do you have written comments? Okay, we can make copies of those and then that way staff can follow up with you as well.
Anyone else that has not signed up? Online? Okay, I think we're done with public comment then. So next up would be the board. Is there any discussion needed, or we could entertain a motion to close the public hearing? So on proposed action. Commissioner Mejia?
Yeah, I do wanna take a time to thank Tom and Jackie because they've done a really good job and really trying to broaden it up. And so just appreciate the work that has gone into this. And, you know, I read the article that came out in the Olympiad and the last comment was Jackie's answering back and she said, these are not hard questions, but it just shows how much everyone cares. And it just shows really how much our staff care and getting all the perspectives in there. So just a lot of appreciation to all of you.
Do we have to take action on some kind of timeline, Tom, on the plan? What's the look like?
So we'll be working on finalizing, incorporating these comments into a final draft, and we'll be bringing that back to you following the RHC probably in late November, early December for formal approval.
Okay, so you asked this and I wasn't tracking what you were asking. So from here, it goes to RHC?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Anything else for Tom or discussion before we close the public hearing?
I also just want to say thank you to Tom and the team. I know how hard you've been working on this plan and taking and synthesizing all of the comments that you've received and incorporating those into the plan on a tight timeline is something that is extremely difficult and comes with a lot of challenges. So thank you for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to close public hearing?
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. And we will not take any further action because it's going to go through some more review, and thanks for all the public comment. Really appreciate the specific stuff we heard today. Okay, let's go on to our second public hearing. This one is related to proposed ordinance to update Thurston County Code Chapter 1514 solid waste charges. Again, this is not being live streamed due to technical issues, but is being recorded on Zoom and will be posted on the YouTube channel within 24 hours. Purpose of this public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed ordinance to revise and amend section 1514.020 and section 1514.040 of the Thurston County Code, chapter 1514 solid waste charges. I need you guys to relating to the assessment of delinquent penalties and restricting disposal on overdue solid waste accounts. It's a hybrid public hearing, and we have same process. Jeff Bickford, Solid Waste Manager, will provide some information. Folks on Zoom, your name will be read aloud. Everyone will have 3 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. Same rules apply that I read earlier, and when you are called on, state your name and address for the record. Public hearing now open, and Jeff will present background information on the proposed ordinance, summarize any written comments submitted, and any additional information requested by the board.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jeff Bickford, Solid Waste Manager. A little background on this. So Thurston County Public Works has the authority to collect solid waste charges under Thurston County Code Chapter 15.14. Chapter 15.14 includes due dates for payments, penalty rate amounts, computed penalty rates, notice for overdue accounts, and notification procedures. So Public Works is proposing an ordinance to revise and amend section 15.14.020 and section 15.14.040 of Thurston County Code. The ordinance will revise the date for assessing delinquent penalties for solid waste charges from 60 days to 30 days and expedite customer notice prohibiting further disposal till balances are paid in full for overdue accounts from 90 days overdue to 60 days overdue. These code changes are intended to reduce financial risk to the county, accelerate payment for services rendered, and improve financial practices in alignment with the county's financial policy, POL 3050, collection of accounts receivable. The draft ordinance has been reviewed by the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, SWAC, who has recommended the ordinance for a BOCC adoption. An e-brief was sent to the board on August 28th on this issue, and this public hearing was noticed by publication in the Nisqually Valley News on September 18th. We actually received a single written comment this morning. That was all we had, and it came from the Olympia Master Builders. Hopefully you have that. So in their public comment, they had 4 primary points. The first, five. The first was they asked if you could provide a short grace period or contractor notification window prior to enforcement of service suspension. And for regular accounts, we do provide a grace period prior to implementing a late fee, and accounts that are further overdue are contacted a number of times, both via phone and through mail as well, before they receive, before they would potentially be cut off. So there is multiple opportunities to do that. The second comment was they clarified procedures for reinstating access after payment to prevent disruption of active job sites. So once a payment of a delinquent account has been posted, we've received it, it's been posted, our staff out at the work are notified right away, and they release the hold at the full house, and that's typically done the same day. The third comment was they'd like to see conduct early outreach to commercial account holders to ensure awareness of new delinquency timelines, and information on these changes is being sent to accounts shortly, actually. So it'll be not just active, basically all active accounts. That is, it should be happening within the next couple of weeks. Evaluate, the next comment, number 4, was evaluate and publish post-implementation data on delinquency trends and operational impact. We can do this after implementation to see if there are actually any changes. And there, just as a note, there's about 1 to 4 account holds that are implemented per month. So it's not real common, but it does happen. But we will look at as we collect data moving forward, we'll be able to compare data and see if that changes. So we plan to do that. And the 5th and final comment they had particularly was coordinate any fee or penalty schedule changes with the SWAC, and let's say Solid Waste Advisory Committee, not use acronyms, and industry partners. So as I mentioned previously, the proposed ordinance change was run through our Solid Waste Advisory Committee, which made that recommendation for approval, as I mentioned. We will also share post-implementation data with the Solid Waste Advisory Committee at a later date, once we have data from moving forward. So with that, I'm willing to answer any other questions.
Okay, is anyone here to provide public comments? I have one person, but they said they did not wish to provide comment, so I don't see anyone online. That's all staff. So at this point, we can close the public hearing, or there's a proposed action to approve this ordinance. Any discussion by the board before we close the public hearing? No. Okay, is there a motion?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
I move to approve the ordinance to revise and amend section 15.14.020 and section 15.14.040 of the Thurston County Code, chapter 15.14, solid waste charges.
Second.
Motion and second, Commissioner Grant there. Approve this ordinance. Any discussion on the motion? Thank you, staff, for working through it. So these will be good changes for better administration of these accounts. Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.